Hey, T-Bird fans, welcome to another episode of Top Shelf with GM Bil La Forge. Today we're talking to Bill about our second-round Bantam pick, Spencer Penner, a defenseman. First off, Bill, in the first round of the Bantam Draft, we had 2 picks. In the second round of the Bantam Draft, we had 2 picks. How do you approach the selections when you have multiple picks in a round?
Yeah, I think we look at the player that our scouts have identified in that spot. I mean, very rarely do we jump down the list. Spencer was a guy we had rated as a first-round player, and we're very interested with both of our picks in the first round. So to have him be there in the second round was a surprise, but it's definitely something that we're very excited about.
You mentioned we had him ranked as a possible first-round pick. We liked him that much. What did we like about him? What are the skills he brings to the table? Yeah,
he's a big, good-sized defenseman, skates very well, keeps the play in front of him. He's a new-age defenseman that he offers help at both ends of the rink. He defends well, like I said, and he does have the offensive ability to play those offensive-type minutes as well.
So in our first 3 picks, we picked a forward and 2 defensemen. The first defenseman, Kevin Korchinski, who we talked about in a previous episode. How do those two compare to each other in the fact of what they bring to the table? Are they similar players? Are they different players on the ice? And seeing as that we saw him as a first-round pick, they're both those defensemen could be guys that T-Bird fans see here in a couple of years. When they're watching them on the ice, is it sort of different skills that they bring to the table?
I think that they're both, very high-quality defensemen. One's a right shot, one's a left shot. We think they could play well together going forward. But again, they're 15 right now, and we'll see how the future unfolds. But no, I think they're going to have some of the similar talents that they both skate well. The one guy might be a little bit more defensive as we go, but we're gonna try and develop them similarly and hope that they both help us bring a championship here at some point.
T-Bird fans, we selected 9 Canadian players and 4 players from the United States. Every year after the Bantam Draft, the Western provinces in Canada put together their U16 teams, which Bantam age players are eligible for. This year, Bill, all 9 of the guys that we drafted from Canada made a U16 provincial camp or were listed on a roster to compete and try out for Team Alberta or Team Manitoba, Team Saskatchewan, Team Vancouver. Is that something that those provincial teams scout those players for, or do they rely on WHL teams who select players to do this? How does that, interaction work between the scouting we do and the way that players get announced or named to provincial teams?
Yeah, they're run independently. I mean, each province is doing their best to win the WHL Cup for the 15-year-olds. So they scout independently. I think it's a feather in the cap of our scouting staff that the guys we selected, did show well in those events. But I'm sure they get some input from our selections. But no, it's scouted independently, and they're each trying to make their province have the strongest team possible.
In Spencer's Bantam year last year, he averaged over a point a game for the Eastman Selects, which is pretty good. Is that something scouts and you take into account the point production as you're watching a guy? Because, statistics are statistics. They can tell different stories. Or is it you're more looking at, how they play with the puck or the first pass or things like that?
Yeah, I think we do a little bit of both. We monitor their skill sets to make sure that they have the ability to make those plays at our level. But we also, you want to have guys that have scored at previous levels, because very rarely does a guy come to the WHL and start scoring. All of our guys have scored at the younger levels. So we don't want to have a guy that is offensively challenged as a Bantam, because that doesn't translate well to the Western Hockey League. But, we feel that Spencer and the other guys we drafted are going to be able to produce and help us at our level based on, the skill sets that they have and the ones that we will continue to develop.
Spencer Penner and other draft picks that we've talked about in previous episodes of Top Shelf will be at the T-Birds training camp in August. Bill, thanks for the time talking about Spencer. T-Bird fans, in our next episode, we're going to talk about our second-round Bantam pick, Gabe Ludwig from Alaska. Thanks for joining us, T-Birds fans.